Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up and a good show lined up. But first, our outdoor weather. We're looking at high today 85, low 72. And the water temperature is an even 78 degrees. It was 77.8 yesterday, so 78 today. So we're looking good on that end. Let's take a look at our river region brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. The Apalachicola of Bluntstown at a 9-foot even and looking good. Got a slow drop to it. The Choctaw at Careville, 6.8, and got a little bit of drop to it there. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at the low tide at 11:05 this morning, the low tide right in the middle of the day, and a high tide right after midnight at about 12:43. Good strong tide, and the wind now, as we predicted yesterday, be coming more out of the east-northeast, and we got to just keep our eyes on the weather and see what's going to happen with this situation out in the Gulf. We've just pay attention and be ready to be flexible. Okay, blessed are the flexible. Okay, let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. If you recall, last week I showed you a picture of some video one of the viewers has sent in about the wild hogs in Southport, right off Highway 77, and we sort of surmised they had some kind of tameness in them, and sure enough, I got an email from one of our viewers. I'm going to read it to you and show you the picture because this is interesting now. It said, Winston, I saw the hogs on your show today and shared pics of them with David Erdman, the Boggy Bayou guide. He thinks those hogs are a cross between the red body, white belly strain of wild hogs found near West Bay and potbelly pet hogs. Here's a pic of the red, white belly, and white hogs near West Bay we saw on our last trip with David. David says they are unique to the West Bay area. Keep up the good work. That's Roger Haddocks. And here's a picture. Okay, this is a picture of the wild hogs up there in West Bay. You can tell it's West Bay, and they're rooting around there on the edge over there, and they probably got up with some potbelly, and that's exactly what the video we showed. And what's interesting, if you recall, also I talked several days earlier before that about the government officials are concerned about the wild hog population exploding across America, and because they're doing exactly that right there. They're getting with domestic hogs in a different strain, and they're saying they're even smarter than we are now. So I think I'll pass that on to you. So anyway, thank you, Roger Haddock, for sharing that with us. And moving on. Now let's go from wild hogs. Let's get a dove report, and we're going to start with Billy Grantham. Billy sent me this. We always want to check out how the dove shoots and all came, and Billy sent this. There's Billy right there. Dove season is red hot. A lot of people hunting, and with success, depending on their shooting skills. The cool weather has made setting very enjoyable. So it's good to hear from up there around the Jackson County area. So thank you, Billy, for touching base with us. And Gary Calhoun, he lives here in Bay County, but hunts up there in Calhoun County. Sunday afternoon dove shoot with my partner in crime. That's his little brother there, and they had a fine little shoot. They did good, and that's a good picture to put them on a pine tree like that. Okay, and I just wanted that's an update on dove season. What's going on with dove season now? I want to show you a little set of pictures. I want to talk about. I like to go back to show some history and heritage like once a month anyway. In October, I wanted to show it on this part of my book. And by the way, I just took some more down to C&G that run out. I've got, I think, less than 40 books left. So if you want to get one, I'd want to go ahead and do it. If you want to buy one as a gift for Christmas, you might want to go ahead and think about doing the Sunjammers, C&G, and down at Blue Water in St. Joe. But anyway, I've told you about doing the book, how I went and sat down, did interviews for a couple of years, and how we traveled to different museums and historical places and got information. But one of the venues that I pursued was getting the old microfilm newspapers. I mentioned that before, and there's so much information back then. So I was thinking last night, I just want to show you some excerpts from some of the early newspaper articles because I was just enthralled at the how the newspapers covered the different parts of the fishing industry, because it was such a big deal back then. So I've got about 7 or 8 pictures I'll just show you that are in my book that came from the old microfilm copies of the old newspapers here. First one that really tickled me, this is actually oysters from St. Andrew Bay, were at one time called the finest anywhere in America. One writer as far back as 1837 boasted of finding oysters from the bay which were 12 inches long. Another writer in 1897 documented the same size oysters taken from North Bay. And that's the article there. That's a December 1917 article from the Panama City Pilot. But that was talked about oysters back then. Was that amazing? And then the boat works. This was the Panama City. This is July 1912. They were just putting motors were just coming out for boats, and they were very proud. Okay, on the right-hand side, they had regattas, and it was a big deal. This is sort of the Super Bowls around here. We're going to these boat races in the early days. But it talked about the pride of the boat builders in St. Andrew Bay, how well they did over there in Pensacola. They first race speedboats, won by Autogo. It went on down, and I recognize all these names. Those boats were built. Most of those boats were built right there where Brad Stevens' Sunjammers is. Right there, Truesdale Boat Works is right there behind where Sunjammers is in St. Andrew. So that part of history was cool to me. And just what about this? Just walking out on the pier, Sunday morning, May 1st, I walked out on Ware's Wharf, which is about where the condo is and the park down in St. Andrew, right there. All conditions being favorable, in about 30 minutes I saw and recognized the following species of fish, single and in schools: mullet, trout, sheephead, bluefish, hardtail, spadefish, needlefish, chofish, rain minnows, cigar minnows, pigfish, silver trout, black snapper, black grouper, flounder, blue crabs, and catfish. The water from shallow to about 10 feet, and it's very clear with a white sandy bottom. Where can you beat it? That was 1927. And then the Nancy Lee that was built here in 1907, and there's an article in the paper, and Captain Burt Ware took it out on a maiden voyage. And that's cool. They took a picture of it in 1907. And I found that in the paper. And actually went out to the snapper banks between West Pass and Phillips Inlet. Hello, that's where people go now. A lot of people don't go west when they go snapper fishing, but they did back then. And then just as hook and line fishing in 1916, catching redfish and all different things. And okay, one more here. I've showed this before, but this one, the automobiles are just sort of getting down here. So at that time, the taxis were the actual boats. Okay, as a Lulu, people went from place to place. They'd get on a boat and go from St. Andrew to West Bay or over to Parker, and that's the different ones there. But anyway, there were more. The bottom line down there, in June of 1915, there were still more boats for hire than there were automobiles, as shown in the register. So anyway, the old newspaper articles. Here's one more here. The 1912. That's what the Princess, a very proud boat out here, the Princess. And on that boat was a young Max Anderson, Captain Max, as a young boy. He was on that boat. But let's show you one more. The Ecker House. This is the oldest picture. People don't know much about this, and I really got interested in this. This was 1889. This was in the paper in 1889, and nobody knows much about it. I got this from the Ecker family. And they're all, most of them have passed away now, but that was a hotel there, and a house, and they also rented it out. So that was in St. Andrew. Is that not cool? Anyway, okay, enough of that. I just want to give you a little bit of flashback into that. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're going to go from the past into the future, what you're going to be able to do to make you a successful outdoorsman. And this is a video I've been promising you now for about over a week and a half about how to throw a cast net. I had an original one that I showed in the early years of the show, and I couldn't find it. I guess we archived it away. But anyway, I just went out, and it's a simple way to do it. And like I've told people before, there are all kinds of ways to throw a cast net. And if Uncle Joe showed you how to do it and you're successful, by all means do that. If you have a cast net where you're casting out for mullet this time of year, but a lot of people like to throw a bait net with a smaller mesh, and throw the bait net, and this method will work on both of them, and it's just something that I sort of did a combination of different ways to do it when I was teaching the kids at Moses Outdoor Ed, and was the simplest way for them to learn, and I always got a kick out of it because I was successful, because I knew that was successful because the girls learned how to do it a lot faster than the boys, because the boys thought they knew everything, you know how teenage boys are. So I always get a kick out of the girls doing it. So this is just a basic way, a little 5-minute video, 6-minute video. I'm in my yard and doing it, and practice in your yard. Just practice doing it in the yard, get your little target, just, you know, till you get relaxed. And each net's different. You sort of get a relationship with your net, with the weight of it, and the size of it, and how you move your body. So it will take practice. But man, it's something you don't forget how to do. It's like riding a bicycle. So Jeff, let's roll this video. Okay, on how to throw a cast net or how to cast a net. Now let me preface this demonstration by first saying there are all kind of ways you can do it. If your grandpa showed you this or Uncle Joe showed you that, by all means do it that way. I'm basing mine on my teaching experience and teaching thousands of kids how to do this, and the simplest and easiest way for them to learn. I worked on all kind of ways and all, but this just turned out really good for the kids when they tried it. So this is a method I'm going to teach you. Okay. First of all, we keep them in 5-gallon buckets. We kept all our nets in 5-gallon buckets. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is make it up. Okay. So now, always put that on your wrist to make sure it's on there, because they do slip off. So people always ask, what size loop do you make when you start looping it? It doesn't really matter, just whatever you're comfortable with when you're just looping up the rope, okay? So now, you get at the top. Now, a couple of basic things here. This is a horn, okay? By the way, this is a handmade net by the one and only Bill McNeil, the St. Andrew Bay net maker from old school. I think he still makes some. If he does, you better get one. That's all I got to say. You got a good net here. You got the swivel. Now you want this swivel to not be down in the neck. You want it up here, out of it. Okay, so it's going to be right there. So you're going to grab it with your left hand. So I got everything in my left hand. Okay, then let me kick the bucket. The other way for me to kick the bucket. Okay, so you're going to hold it out, and now you're going to hold it out in front of you, and you're going to go down basically. And notice how I go down about a little bit below my waist right here, and I'm going to make one loop. It's going to be according to the size of the net. If it's a big net, you might make 2 loops, okay? Once I do that, I'm going to hold it up, and on the lead line, okay, I'm going to find it halfway to the lead line, which will be about right here. I'm going to put this over my shoulder. I'll get enough back here that's going to stay. All right, now, the next step, you put your right leg out, okay, and then you come up underneath the net. You can what I call scoop it, come up underneath the net, go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's about, basically you're getting about half the net. Usually 3 to 4 scoops, you got half the net. And then with that open hand, come up by your right leg and grab the part that you put over there on the right side of your leg, okay? Now what you're gonna do, okay, now I'm going to rotate back. I'm going to swivel my shoulders back, sort of hold it out from me. I just cast it like this. It's a simple cast. It's very simple. Okay. Now practice doing it in the yard. This is what I do. I used to have a lot of pine trees before Hurricane Michael. I always get pine needles in it, but I don't worry about that anymore. All my pine trees are gone. So bring it back up, and when you pick it back up, always sort of make sure everything's coming in level, okay? Make sure everything's level and not tangle up any. And just hold it up. Okay, you do have a little pine needles in it, but that's not gonna hurt anything. So, and then now, so practice over and over. Don't wear yourself out doing it. And then after you practice, go out the next day and do it again at a different angle. I don't want to get too complicated, but you can adjust your own throw according to the size of net you have. So you and your net are sort of a bond as to what you're going to do. This is a fairly heavy net. I've got a light net over here, and I have to really put a lot of oomph into it to get it spread out because it's a lot bigger net. So all different nets and all. So anyway, I hope this helps you. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm gonna walk down to my dock and throw it off the water, okay? Okay, I'm gonna walk out on the dock and just throw it one time just to sort of show you a longer version of it. But now I cannot walk very far out of my dock. If you look, it took a beating from Hurricane Sally, which was Category 2 over in the Alabama state line. That shows how much effect it can have. I lost a lot of boards. I got to redo my dock, so I'm gonna wait till maybe after Christmas. But I sure do miss it. But I can't walk out very far. Now when you finish, of course, you're gonna wash it off good, but you wanna hang it up. You don't throw it back in the bucket. I got an old nail here. You just wanna hang it up so it'll dry out. Okay, the wind coming, it's pretty windy today, so it's gonna dry out pretty good. So let it dry out, and that's how you take care of it. All right, welcome back. That looks simple, don't it? And it really is. So go ahead and do that. And like I say, most folks use it now just catching live bait. And live bait is a great way to catch fish, especially bringing people out with you that want to catch fish and they don't want to play around and all that kind of stuff. They want to catch fish. So that's a good way to do it. So get you some mullet too. This is a great time of the year. And I get tickled. I found this article. Speaking of articles, they'll show this. This is October of 1920. 100 years ago. This month, 100 years ago, they just caught a huge catch of mullet. So I'll talk about that later on, but I just wanted to, this is a month ago for the past 100 to 200 years. Okay, I want to show you, let's look at fishing game time today from Blue Water Outriggers. We're looking at 3:31 to 5:31 this morning, it just ended, so this afternoon, how about 3:56 to 5:56? I'd mentioned, I showed yesterday, my grandson Mason had taken that 10-point buck with his crossbow, and crossbows are real popular. And Mark Coward sent this I got a little minute video of Michael shooting across, practicing with a crossbow, and so he gets. Let me see if I can find it right here. This is it right here. So we're going to. Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to set it up. Michael Coward shooting a block target, set up 100 yards with a 10 miles per hour crosswind. So a football field, and you got a crosswind. So, all right, so we're gonna watch it. Let's see, right here, and let me see. Let's put it up here. So, boom. So there's the target way down there. That's that block target. So he shot it. He got aimed it pretty good and shot it. And they're walking down there to it. And sure enough, now, okay, that's on back. So it'll go through, and then look where it came in there, right in the dead center. That is a really good shot right there. He's going to push it back through and then show you, that's where it hit right there. So, I mean, look at the level, the crosshair, everything's right there. So you can see the big thing, and that'll be it right there, Jeff. The big thing about crossbows, they're just so accurate now, and the engineering technology on them have really just sort of, they've stepped up the game over a couple of years, and you have the scope on there, and I personally don't hunt with them, and don't really have a desire to, but I know a lot of the younger kids, younger outdoorsmen really enjoy them, and they get a kick out of it. And you can see on yesterday's show, Mason got a 10-point. You see Michael Coward, that younger generation, shooting and all. So it's good to see Michael do that. So good job on that. I'm not going to have enough time to get into my other segment here. Let me see. I want to talk about. Let me see what all I got. I still didn't finish all the pictures the other day. Let's see. We're talking about red snapper season coming up, and this is so interesting because this past weekend, look at here, what was called, you see where it's fishing on Windship. Remember how it was Sunday, how windy with choppy waters, still couldn't keep me from bagging this beauty out of the bay. It's a shame snapper season is still 2 weeks out. Folks, you can catch snapper in the bay. You look right there where he is. This is just not earth-breaking news because a lot of old timers have been catching them anyway, but I just want to let you know, and it's not much of a secret anymore, sort of out. A lot of snapper will be caught in the bay in this coming snapper season, and I want you to be aware of that. The biggest thing about catching them, you're going to have to find a hole out there, and with electronics like they are now, it's not that hard. And there've been some folks that build their own spots. You don't want to fish somebody else's spot, but if you accidentally run across it, you're not going to do it on purpose. But there are people out there that actually worked hard on building snapper spots in the bay. But really, right there at the bridge, now you're going to get through the redfish and the sharks and all kind of stuff, but you can catch snapper in the bay. So you don't have to go way out 20 miles and all to catch red snapper. So if you are in the season, to be, like I say, the last 3 weekends of October, going to be a great time to go. And run by, if you don't have enough stuff, run by C&G. They got some good stuff down there, and they'll tell you some good spots in the bay. Ask some of those guys down there about fishing in the bay, because some of them have been diving in the bay. And the water's clearing up some a little bit. It's not as tea-colored, and it's going to be some good snapper fishing in the bay. Okay, tomorrow I got a special show lined up. But anyway, I got to wrap it up today. I had some more stuff. I just didn't have time to get into it. I don't want to start something at the end of the show and not finish it. So right here, today's hump day. Keep your eyes to the skies, see what's going to be happening, and you have a great day. Do something good today for your fellow man. Enjoy our great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.